Sign. UL gave him a funny look. I thought he probably thought he was going back to the dugout.
Everybody else knew it was 2-2. Takes the first inning for Joe maybe to settle down. That is strike 3.
On a great curveball, and that's the pitch that's going to get Rudy through this ballgame.
Batting third, number 5.
And here you see a big breaking curveball, but it breaks hard and sharp. Obviously fooled.
So George Brett will be coming up. Time called by the Yankees. Here's Bob Watson. May need a new glove or what have you.
Maybe a shield. I think George is hitting. He wants to.
Now Rudy May is quite loose. Rudy May facing Brett. George, you watched him accepting the Cronin Award just a few minutes ago. And a man who could very well, of course, win the MVP award. Coming up tomorrow, the National League Championship Series Game 3. Remember, the National League is off today. They're tied a game apiece from the Dome at 2:30 Eastern Time. We'll be at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And tomorrow night it will be Tommy John facing Paul Splittorff. Crowd is getting impatient as Watson has gone back down the tunnel, so I have no idea what the problem is.
He may have possibly broken the webbing in his glove.
Or some equipment that he's wearing.
And the plate umpire, Joe Brinkman.
He's loose, too.
Yep. Joe saying, what do you say, Bull? This is prime time. Take a look at the series, the way they've gone in the prior meetings between these two clubs. You can see the Royals won the first game back in '77, but of course the key difference, the last number of games, 5 in '76 and '77, and game number 4 in 1978, all New York.
I just got the sign from Piniella. Watson broke his zipper in his pants.
Right. So that's the problem, and the pen of George Brett there, worn on the lapel of Mrs. Brett, the mother of fully 8% of the Kansas City roster. George and brother Ken.
8%.
Out of the bullpen. Yep.
So I was talking to Fran Healy, and you know, he said that when they grew up, Ken Brett, George's brother, was always a better athlete. George used to go to the beach, and he almost hit 400. Yeah, maybe there's something into that, that sunshine or whatever they have out in California.
El Segundo.
Scotty McGregor, our 20-game winner this year over in Baltimore.
The way George is going right now, Ken can go to the beach.
All right, so Watson, zipper in place, unless Piniella was kidding around with you when he gave you that sign, Billy. We don't know. But anyway.
No, I don't think he was.
The Bull is at his station, and with 2 down, bases empty, bottom of the first inning. No score. Brett, who's had remarkable success in postseason play. This is 4th playoff series. 1-0. George hit .390 during this regular season, and his lifetime average for all of the playoffs, counting yesterday, .390. One and one. We watched Otis deep in the box yesterday, and you can see where Brett plants.
Again, Charlie Lau's influence. Most of the hitters that study under him stand way back and way off the plate.
Gets jammed, pops it up to short. Easy play for Bucky Dent, and each pitcher has a 1-2-3 first inning. So we go to the second in Kansas City in game 2. Yankees nothing, Royals nothing.
I just discovered oil.
Louise, we just discovered oil.
What?
People are discovering Texaco's Haviland Supreme, the motor oil with a special friction fighter that's been proven in fuel economy tests. Extensive tests showed that 2 of the leading 10W40 motor oils advertising extra gasoline mileage couldn't beat Haviland Supreme. And you still get Haviland's trooper-tested engine protection, too. Discover Haviland Supreme, protection plus unbeaten mileage.
Oh, great. Fried stereo.
Don't worry. We've got insurance.
Oh, Mom, the stereo will cost a bundle to replace today.
Our Allstate policy will cover it.
Right. If you buy Allstate's new replacement cost coverage on contents, we'll replace most personal property at today's prices.
We'll replace it. Oh, we can get a new stereo?
But this time, let's put it there. away from the fireplace.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
And that's a promise from us. The good hands people.
Fred, what a lovely piece of furniture.
Giant TV, too.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that's Quasar.
Oh. Graham, you can't bake an angel food cake in a microwave.
It's a convection oven, too.
That's fantastic.
That's Quasar.
Hot dog. That's fantastic.
That's Quasar.
One great idea after another, after another, after another.
Tomorrow, 2 championship series games. The Phillies and Astros at 2:30 Eastern. The Royals and Yankees at 8 Eastern, live on ABC.
Second inning, no score. Reggie Jackson to lead things off. For the Yankees, I spoke with Reggie earlier.
Of course, it wouldn't be a year with the Yankees without some sort of controversy. This year, I guess the biggest occurred when George Steinbrenner leveled his blast at the club in late August as the Orioles started to close in. What effect did that have, if any, on the team?
Well, George got everybody. I was included also. He said Reggie Jackson went into the tank. So-and-so failed. This guy failed. That person didn't do the job. And I've always felt that opinions were like noses. Everybody has one. It's just that when you have one like Jimmy Durante, you can make money off it. George Steinbrenner has a big nose, and he can afford to say the things he says. He owns the ball club. He pays the freight. He pays the salaries. If he has an opinion, then I think we all at least have to hear it. You don't necessarily have to listen to it, but you must hear it.
Reggie Jackson leading off in the second inning. 1-0. Reggie's got a few opinions himself. 1-1 to count. Jackson with a quizzical look at Brinkman.
Well, he made a good pitch, Al. It's one of those pitcher's pitches, the one that you always want, but don't always get.
Two balls and a strike. Jackson, Gamble, and Cerrone in the second inning. Game 2. Royals winning yesterday 7-2. No score here.
And Reggie not having a particularly good day. Left 5 men on. Didn't get any hits. Could have turned the game around in the 7th inning.
That's a strike, and the count 2-2. Jackson without a hit yesterday. He had finished the regular season with a 13-game hitting streak.
I was talking to Dennis Letter, and he said in this type of ballpark, which is one of the biggest in the American League, he's going to try to stay away from Reggie. If he gets ahead, he might come with a breaking ball, but you can throw those long fly balls here.
We saw a lot of them thrown up by Gura yesterday. 2-2 to Jackson. Is it right back through the middle? Washington can't get it. It's a base hit.
Really interesting point. When you play the Yankees, being the manager of Oakland, do you put a shift on Reggie like they did with Ted Williams or other hitters?
No, I can't, because if you pitch Reggie away, he'll take it right over that 4-10 sign. You just can't pitch him one way all the time either.
Oscar Gamble getting the start in left field tonight. Lou Piniella was out there yesterday. Oscar Gamble, baby, right there. Daddy's up. And Mrs. Gamble.
I think, Al, you're going to see one of the most unusual stances right over the plate. The place to pitch Oscar is high and tight. Any ball out over the plate, he hits pretty well.
Tremendous power for a little man. Tremendous power.
Oh, I can testify that. He got me twice this year, long balls. Once in Baltimore and once in New York.
Gamble with that punched over stance. Keep close together in a close play at first base. Here it is again. Reggie just does get back. Woof.
He was in there. You know, he has great speed, Reggie. And he's a good base runner.
2-0 the count. Oscar Gamble at the plate missed a lot of time this season. Fractured a toe on his left foot. Missed 38 games in May and June.
Oh, he had a fabulous stretch early in the year. They had like 16 RBIs in 18 games or 18 RBIs in 16 games. That guy contributed a few of those.
The 2-0 pitch is hit to center field and deep. Otis going back, has room though, and makes the catch on the warning track. And Jackson holds it first. So Jim Palmer just talked about you can throw a lot of long outs in this ballpark, and there's about as long an out as you can throw up there to the plate. As Amos Otis has to go back about 405 feet away to make the catch.
Of course, that ball also is a can of corn in New York.
Right, exactly. Same thing in Yankee Stadium, Death Valley, the center.
Well, I think it illustrates the difference between the Yankee outfield and Kansas City's outfield. Amos Otis probably plays the deepest center field in the league. They have much more speed in their outfield, and he caught that ball easily. Yesterday, you saw a double by Wilson on a similar fly ball. Amos caught it easy. The ball went over Bobby Brown's head.
Well, I'm sure the Yankee scouts up there with those walkie-talkies will be moving Brown back a little deeper tonight.
Yankees and Royals, no score, second inning, 1 out. Reggie Jackson at first base. Rick Cerrone, 1 for 4 yesterday. 1-0.
Dennis said he's going to try to stay away from Rick. I don't know if it had anything to do with the home run he hit yesterday, but he hurt them inside this year. Kind of a pull hitter, but I think the reason he had such a good year, he also will take the pitch away, again, because of Charlie Lau's influence, and hit the ball to right field, kind of hitting the pitch where it's at.
A definite high ball hitter. Notice how close Frank White plays at second base, probably the closest any second baseman in baseball.
Well in from the back line, as you can see. 2-0. Do you like to have your second baseman playing in that close, Billy?
No, not really. I like to have them what we call cheek directly in, which cuts their line down to second base, but I don't like to have them play that close. Unless their range to their left is tremendous, that would be all right. Apparently his is.
Well, you don't have Frank White playing for you either, though. You got a pretty good second baseman, but he's one of the best. Has great range.
.2-0 pitch. Ripped into left field for a base hit. Willie Wilson plays it on a hop, and Jackson will stop at second.
That was a fine play by Willie. That ball was tough to handle. He didn't know whether to charge it, lay back, and he just played the ball right in front of him, which is a very smart play for an outfielder to do.
And here you'll see what we're talking about. A fastball up in the strike zone, not quite far enough inside, and he lines it to left field.
And Willie Wilson keeping it from going through. If it goes through, it's a run. Greg Nettles winding up with a .244 average, but of course he has some power, hitting 16 home runs in what amounts to about 60% of a season, missing 2 months. Didn't play from the 23rd of July until October the 4th.
I think, Al, one of the better swings in baseball for a left-handed hitter. He has a real smooth swing. I had him at Denver when he was a young boy.
Back in,
I can testify to that. I think he's hit about 10 home runs. When I did the broadcast in '78, Howard kept reminding me how many home runs he hit off me. Very traumatic time.
Outside, 1-1. What would that be? 60, 68 you were at Denver, weren't you?
That's correct, Al.
Then on to Minnesota?
On to Minnesota. Then Greg came to Minnesota with me, and then I got my walking papers, and then that year they traded Greg to Cleveland, which was one of the biggest mistakes as far as trades I'm concerned.
You mean you didn't get fired at Denver?
No, Jim Burris recommended me for a major league job. He's tremendous.
I think, didn't you take over for Johnny Gurl there?
Yes, I did.
Now the manager of the Minnesota Twins. The 1-1 pitch is hit high in the air to left center field. Otis and Wilson converging on it, and it's Amos for the catch. So 2 down in the second inning. The Yankees with runners at first and second, and we'll take a look at Bucky Dent.
Batting 8, number 20, Bucky Dent, shortstop.
The Yankees, we touched on this yesterday, Billy. You want to come in and split if you can, so they'll feel, I'm sure, they're in the driver's seat if they can win it tonight, going home for the rest of the series.
Right, Al. They just wanted to win one here. If they won 2, it was a plus, but if they can win 1 here, they're strong in their own ballpark. Of course, they'll have those Yankee fans out there, too.
Big difference coming up tomorrow night, Game 3, 8 o'clock Eastern. 2 on, 2 out. 0-1 a count.
Gal, this is probably the most crucial time for most pitchers. You get 2 outs, you have a man in scoring position. It's kind of what really predicates having a good, well-pitched game. Getting the guy out with a man in scoring position with 2 outs.
Case in point, Gura yesterday.
Well, he made all the big pitches, and Guidry failed in the one time where he could have gotten the left-hander Akins out.
0-2 the count as Leonard serves one up at 90 miles an hour. And there's Jim Fry, longtime coach for the Orioles. Took over here for Whitey Herzog, who had been at the helm when the Royals won in 76, 77, 78. And Fry and Hauser and Dallas Green all in their first full season with the various clubs. 3 of the 4 managers in the 2 leagues championship series. To Dent. They swung on and missed, but Porter has to retrieve, throw to first, and they get the out. Bucky Dent striking out, and then Porter able to make the play at first.
And you'll see the slider, he doesn't use too much, but it definitely fools Dent for strike 3. Nice block by Porter.
So the Yankees squander a threat, get 2 hits and leave 2. We've played an inning and a half. Yankees nothing, Royals nothing.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them. With new Hertz #1 Express service, I fly non-stop from my plane to my car. Stopping at the counter. If you ask for #1 Express when you make your reservation, your Ford or other fine car and contract will be waiting at the #1 Express booth. Once again, Hertz puts you in the driver's seat faster than anybody else.
Introducing the revolutionary twin action shaving system, engineered to outperform twin blades, the new Norelco Rotatract razor. Inside 3 floating heads, Rotatract works like twin blades without a nick or cut to grip hair, raise it up, then razor it off hundreds of times a second. For a shave no blade can beat. The new twin action Norelco Rotatract razor, cord and rechargeable. Twin blade closeness, but no gotcha.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day...
This compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know, it's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
Leading off for the Royals.
We're in Kansas City. Al Michaels with Oakland A's manager Billy Martin and 3-time Cy Young Award winner Jim Palmer. Coming up Saturday, quite a day on ABC. We start with NCAA football, Oklahoma, Texas at 12:30. Then down to Houston for the 4th game there. That's official. They'll have to go at least 4. And then if necessary, back in New York for game 4 on Saturday night. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 0-0. Cal McRae, the designated hitter. 0 for 3 yesterday. 1-0 the count. McRae, Otis, and Watson, 3 right-handed batters coming up.
3 tough right-handers.
2-0 the count on McRae.
He can pull the ball on occasions, and he's got good power. He goes to all fields. He's a good hit-and-run man. He's a tough hitter up there.
Well, he came up as really being platooned against left-handers.
Precisely. 2-1 the count. Came up with Cincinnati. Two and 2 now on McRae.
If you do pitch him up in, Al, you have to pitch him up real tight, and you got to have good mustard. And you just can't aim the ball to get it up in there. You have to really bring it.
Well, I think that Rudy's throwing pretty well because you can see the 2-0 fastball he threw right by him. That's difficult to do.
You notice McRae's feet again in the box. He's pulling that little game also.
Well, Charlie Lau's theory is the farther back you stand and farther away from the plate, the longer you have to wait. You don't have to commit yourself. You stand on top of the plate. There's only one thing you can do. fly open and throw your hips. I think this stance gives you a lot more options. Of course, he's had some pretty good pupils. I think that helps.
3-2 pitch. Hit foul out of play.
I think my best hitting instructor was Frankie Crusetti.
The Crow, yep.
You got a pretty good guy in Baltimore, Frank Robinson. Hit a few home runs.
Yeah, not too shabby.
No.
Ball 4. So McRae is on. And the Royals have their first base runner tonight.
Center field.
Amos Otis comes to the plate, hitting .251 for the regular season. 10 homers, 53 RBIs. Otis had better success. There's Berra. Yogi with the walkie-talkie. And the Yankees, as we mentioned yesterday, with 7 coaches in uniform.
Well, he's moving the outfield. He's talking to 2 of the scouts up in the stands up here above the stadium. And he's moving the outfielders. He works mostly with the outfielders.
And they're playing Otis around to right. I think because he missed 40 days because of that tendon injury to his hand, has not hit the ball with power as much as he did last year.
One and oh the count.
Handles does have to play in a little bit because Amos can bunt the ball also.
There's Gregg at third. And as we pull back, you can see the positioning in relation to the bag.
He's playing him off the line. He's not really a pull hitter. You got to play the percentages on AstroTurf. You either got to bunch them, or late innings you have to play the lines.
Otis pops it foul back at first. Bob Watson coming over, but won't have a play. This program being brought to you as an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
WABC TV, New York.
Second inning in Kansas City. The Yankees nothing and the Royals nothing. Hal McRae at first base for the Royals and nobody out. Rudy May on the mound, and Rudy May's wife,
Carol May. Rudy was with us in Baltimore, 74, 75, part of 76. Went to the Yankees in that big trade, 5 for 5.
I saw Rudy when the Twins first signed him way back, and believe me, he can really throw hard there.
He beat me in 1965, 2-0. One hitter I pitched in Dodger Stadium when the Angels used to play the first year in Shepherd's Ravine.
Rudy broke in that year with California, went to New York, then to Baltimore, to Montreal, and back to New York in his 18th pro season. One and two.
I think that looked like one of those funny pitches you talked about earlier. Ball really went away from Amos.
Did have a little move on it, didn't he?
That's one of the few fastballs he's thrown down. He committed the cardinal sin for a pitcher, which is walking the first batter of an inning. Seems like they invariably score.
Time call. Of course, you ought to be right at home watching the pitcher load him up, Billy. Your staff has been accused of that all season long.
Oh, I know it, but my pitching coach, Art Fowler, only teaches the dry spitter.
You can explain that later. So it might help me.
1-2 pitch, half swing. Did he come around? Yes, he did. Strike 3. Second strikeout for May.
Batting sixth, number 12.
And here you'll see he really helps him out swinging at a fastball out of the strike zone. Not a very good pitch to swing at.
There's a ball, definitely.
Well, it really helped him out. He had walked the first batter. He went 1-0. Throw another ball over his head, fouled that back. Kind of got Rudy back into the inning.
May ready to work with McRae at first base and one down. John Watson, the batter.
They do hit and run with him once in a while, Al. He can go to the right field with the ball. He can he can pull the ball. But I like to see a guy in a hit and run and just hit the ball where it's pitched.
Watson had a good year, hitting .305. Breaking pitch in there, 0-1. one of those walks yesterday was intentional.
Has a good eye. If you're going to get him out consistently, you have to do it either with a good curveball, which Rudy May has, or you run the fastball in on him. But I think the 3 walks testify to the fact you have to throw him strikes.
We found that he definitely liked the ball out over the plate.
Well, just another, you hate talk about Charlie Lau, even especially now that he's the batting instructor with the Yankees, but all these guys study under Charlie, and he just hits the ball away very well.
Bob Watson backhanding it. The Yankees and the Royals were scoreless. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Game 2. One and one.
Hal McRae pulled a little cutie over there. He gave a false break over there at first base, trying to distract the pitcher, which is very good base running.
Well, they definitely took advantage of the right-handed pitching yesterday, stealing 2 bases. They will not do it on Rudy. Has an excellent balk move. Another thing that Art Fowler taught all your pitchers up there in Oakland.
2-1.
I think when you talk about a balk move, the pitchers, left-handers particularly, their left foot is on the rubber. And when they bring their right leg up, they cannot bring it past the rubber and then go to home. Rudy just kind of brings it even with the rubber, hangs there, deceives the runner, and the runner really doesn't know whether he's going home or he's going to first.
All right, we'll watch it from this angle now. And the count is 3-1.
Now they also give you that slow leg motion up there, which really deceives the runner. Then the next time, they'll give you the quick motion to the plate, and it really holds the runner to first base.
McRae bluffing again, remains at first, and the pitch is popped up in foul ground. Back at first, Watson might have a play, leaning in and makes the catch. So Bob Watson leaning into the temporary booth set up there, back at first base, to get the second out of the inning.
And this is where the home fans can really help. I know you're not supposed to interfere, but if they do interfere with him, they can knock the ball right out of his glove. They can distract him, and it can really, I mean, it can be a pivotal part of a ball game.
A lot of cowards down there tonight, though. Everybody was getting out of the way for him.
Well, they're very friendly here in Kansas City.
Oh, good move by both umpires. McCoy moving over there, watching the play, and then I would guess it's Steve out there in right field coming in, covering first base.
Willie Aikens, the batter. 2 down, bottom of the 2nd inning. Hal McRae at first base. One and 0. The Yankees, if this series goes 5, they'll use 4 left-handers. Guidry yesterday, May tonight, John tomorrow night. T on scheduled game 4, the right-hander, and then back to Guidry in game 5 on Sunday. Curve in there, 1-1.
I think the use of left-handers is probably not as important here at Royal Stadium as it is in Yankee Stadium. A lot of territory out there in left center in Yankee Stadium. You got a guy here. I mean, it's not the classic lefty versus lefty confrontation. Got the big hit off Ron Guidry yesterday. When Guidry had to get him out, he fought him off, the fastball off, and got a single left field, really for the winning runs in the ballgame.
McRae goes, good jump. The pitch missing. The throw down to second, nails him. Cerrone to Dent to get Hal McRae, who was off and flying. So KC is gone here in the 2nd. We've played 2. Still Yanks nothing, Royals nothing.
You're on top of it all on Monday, then it starts to get you down. From the weekend, you just got to get out from under.
And the weekend is where AMF comes in. We make Ben Hogan golf equipment, head rackets and tennis wear, Harley-Davidson motorcycles and golf cars. AMF feels the only way to stay on top is to get out from under on weekends.
Why do I need a new 81 Chevy pickup? Well, if I were getting smaller and my cargoes were getting smaller, bigger gas prices wouldn't be such a problem. I just get a small pickup. But I need a full-size cab, and I've still got payloads up to 2,500 pounds to move. So I'm glad this new Chevy pickup has as much room and load space as ever, with even better EPA mileage estimates than last year. The right size pickup for full-size jobs. Chevy Trucks, an important step ahead.
You're the Pepsi generation, spirit of today. And with every taste of life that's new, well, that Pepsi spirit shines right through. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in. Catch that Pepsi spirit. Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in.
Saturday in the Cotton Bowl, the Oklahoma Sooners, who scored 82 points last weekend, tackle the undefeated Texas Longhorns.
At Royal Stadium in Kansas City, Bobby Brown will be leading off with the Yanks in the top of the third. I spoke with Bobby earlier.
What about playing in this ballpark at night? Any problems here with the lights?
No, I think yesterday was probably the biggest problem with all that sunlight glowing at you straight away center field. Left field was having problems. Right field was having problems. Tonight, I think it's a different story. You know, we're going to be able to pick the ball up. We're going to see how hard it's hit, how high it's going to go. And I really think that tonight is going to be a different story. We come to play tonight. We was a little down yesterday after we lost. Not really down, but we was hurt because we come here to win. And I think right tonight we're going to go out there and we're going to play. And if they beat us, they beat us. But they're going to have to beat us because we're not going to lay down. We're going to play.
Leading off with the Yankees, Bobby Brown. 13, hard to believe he's a rookie.
Brown,
fired up.
Well, he didn't play like a rookie down the stretch.
Bobby, key man, taking over for Rupert Jones. Hurt in August and gone for the season. Bobby Brown, 8 seasons in the minors, shuffled around, released, among other things, finally making it. 1-0 the count on Brown.
And he can really hurt you from the left side. Much better hitter. 280 hitter from the left side, 282, and 212 from the right side. 12 home runs versus left-handed, 2 right-handed. He can launch one.
2-0 the count. Brown, one of only 2 Yankees who are a threat to steal. The other would be the man that will follow him in the order in this inning, and is the Yankees' leadoff batter, Willie Randolph.
A lot of hitters hate to hit ninth. Frank White, of course, hit ninth yesterday, went 3 for 4. But if Bobby Brown gets on it, it sets up a good situation for New York. You got Leonard with Randolph up there, Brown who can steal. He's going to see a lot of fastballs. Willie's a much better fastball hitter. It's really like having a 1-2 combination if they happen to come up at the right time.
That's correct. You don't have to bunt him over. You can hit and run, steal, do whatever you want.
Well, Willie.
Brown backing out. Bobby a switch hitter. He's the only switch hitter on the Yankee roster. Hit 282 left-handed this year. 2-2 the count.
Looks a little bewildered. I think Dennis really buzzed that ball by him. And it's great to have switch hitters on your ball club. I know one of the strengths of the Orioles is to have Kenny Singleton batting third, a guy like Eddie Murray, both switch hitters, both excellent hitters in the middle of your lineup.
Makes you think twice.
Popped up. UL Washington will gather it in. 1 away.
Makes you think twice of who you're going to bring in from that bullpen when you see those switch hitters standing up there, I tell you.
Second baseman, Willie Randolph.
Well, the way those 2 guys hit, sometimes it doesn't matter who you bring in.
Willie Randolph, the batter. Randolph flied to right in the first inning. Oh, and 1. Talking about switch hitters, Billy mentioned it yesterday when we punched up a shot of Whitey Herzog that might be talking to Whitey about a prospective deal. I don't know, just one man's opinion. That's mine. We'll take a look at Ron Guidry in a moment. There he is. Gary Templeton would fit in pretty well on your ball club, wouldn't he?
Better believe it. Better believe it.
The shortstop for the Cardinals, switch hitter. 0-1 pitch. 0-2 the count.
Well, he's thrown 2 sliders. Both of them have been perfect. That was a slider there that fooled Willie.
He's got a good slider tonight. He's going to be tough if that keeps up.
Well, he's throwing a lot of fly balls, which means his fastball's got to be jumping. And he's making good pitches with his breaking ball. That's all you got to do to win. There's another one.
Strikes him out. And Randolph, normally with a very keen eye, chases a bad pitch.
Well, it's an excellent slider, and he thinks it's a fastball, which is what a slider is supposed to do. Comes in there like a fastball. You see it break. Obviously fooled.
2 out in the 3rd inning. Bobby Mercer, the batter. No success against the Royals this season, but Bobby came on after he was wasting away on the bench early in the year. Originally, of course, with the Yankees, and then over to the Giants, and then the Cubs, and Mercer toward the end of his career now, finally getting a chance for postseason play.
Well, he's been around a long time. He broke in the year I broke in 1965. Came up strictly as a fastball hitter and really adjusted.
0-1. And the pizza in the hands of the lovely Kay Mercer up from Oklahoma. With the kids. 0-2 the count. Leonard's last pitch clocked at 93. Most velocity he's had on any one pitch this evening.
And he's trying to pitch Bobby away with fastballs and maybe a breaking ball in this situation.
Grounded down to first. Akins will do it himself. And it's 3 up and 3 down. The Yankees gone quickly and an order in the 3rd. Royals come up bottom of the 3rd. New York nothing. Kansas City nothing.
Mr. Goodwrench, can I get an oil change, filter, and lube job in a hurry?
Sure. I'll do it while you wait.
Mr. Goodwrench knows you don't have time to waste, so he can offer while you wait service on many popular jobs. And he has the special GM tools, GM training, and genuine GM parts available to back it up.
All done? That was fast.
Well, time is money, Sam.
Keep that great GM feeling.
Where Mr. Goodwrench works.
With genuine GM parts.
This is the world's simplest camera, Polaroid's new one-step.
That isn't new.
It is with Polaroid's new Time Zero Super Color, the world's fastest developing color film.
But it's still the same camera.
You think so? You see these pictures in seconds, not minutes. You never got Polaroid color like this before.
The colors are spectacular, but that camera is not new.
Shoot some Time Zero pictures with your one-step. You'll call it new.
Sure, you can call it new.
Are you through?
I did join the Army, but I joined a different Army. I joined the one with the condos and the private rooms.
Has anybody ever died from basic? I want to wear my sandals. I want to go out to lunch. I want to be normal again.
Goldie Hawn is Private Benjamin, rated R. Opens Friday, October 10th. Check newspaper for local listing.
Looking down from our helicopter on Royal Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. For the 4th time in 5 years, playing host to the Championship Series. Coming up tomorrow, Game 3. National League from the Dome, 2:30 Eastern. They're even at a game apiece after the Astros won it last night in 10. We'll be in New York. The Royals and the Yankees tomorrow night at 8 Eastern time. What a sight. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 0-0. Willie Akins to lead things off. Grounded down to Watson at first. He'll shovel to May covering. 3-1, 1 gone. Darryl Porter, the Royal catcher, coming up. I spoke with Darryl earlier.
Do you feel that the problems are totally licked, or is it something that you've got to keep working on?
Well, I think that I know for a fact that I'll always be a drug addict and I'll always be an alcoholic. I must always be aware of that. It's just that I'm allergic to those things. I can't do them. I won't be able to do them 10 years from now. Everything will be the same 10 years from now as it is now. I've just got to be aware of those things, and I'm lost.
Darryl Porter, quite open about the problems that he went through this year. Well publicized, of course. Started the season in a rehabilitation center. Came back in May. Wound up on the All-Star team. Played in the game in L.A. in July. 2-0, but really struggled in the second half, especially at the plate.
Well, he didn't have one of his best years, but he can really help you because he constantly is up there in the league leaders with walks. Maybe not this year because he didn't play as much.
3 balls, no strikes to count on Porter.
And he's a fine handler of pitchers, Jim, also. He really knows how to handle his pitchers. He takes control back there. He just doesn't let the pitcher do it all.
3-1.
Why do you think, Billy, that it's so many left-handers have trouble with left-handed pitchers?
I've been trying to figure that out for years.
Line to right field, base hit.
I think really, Jim, it's the left-handers have these unorthodox moves and wind-ups, whatever it may be out there, where the right-handers are more traditional, straight overhand.
That's the first hit for Kansas City. Darrell Porter at first base with 1 down, 3rd inning, and Frank White. 3 hits yesterday. There are his season figures. Classy second baseman.
Yes, another guy that doesn't have outstanding stats, but on this type of surface, he's kind of a spray hitter. Will hit the ball behind the runner. They're not afraid to run with anybody. This guy can handle the bat.
Tries to bunt his way on. A good bunt, and they're going to let it roll foul. 0-1. I think what Nettles is going to argue is that the ball hit him as he left the batter's box. They're going to argue it on both ends at third and with the home plate umpire. DeKalser is out there with Nettles and May and Cerrone pleading the case.
Nettles appealed right away to Kaiser down on third base. Right off the bat, he wasn't yelling about whether the ball was fair or foul. He was looking for the ball striking the batter. We'd like to see that, see if he was right or not.
We'll take a look, I'm sure. DeKalser going back to the Yankee dugout, and here it is again. Let's see if we can
it's a tough call for the home plate umpire. He's watching the pitch. Can't really see.
No. Run it back a little bit here and maybe see if we can catch it again. As the white of the ball goes through the white of the uniform, it's difficult to detect.
That's tough to see from here out.
Well, it doesn't look like it hits him, but that's why he appealed to the other umpires, because he's got to get help on that play.
Simply a strike, and the count 0-1. Oh, 2 now.
I think the thing with it that Earl Weaver contended all year, especially with a guy like Dwayne Murphy, your center fielder in Oakland, a lot of times when batters bunt, they are not that the ball is going to hit him. They're out of the batter's box. They're trying to get that quick jump. Maybe not a right-handed hitter, but a left-handed hitter. And when he actually bunts the ball, he's not even in the batter's box. Very tough play to get an umpire, especially when he's standing maybe 100 feet away, to see.
Hard play to call, Jim.
Well, especially when Earl's out there arguing.
No balls, 2 strikes on White. Porter at first base and 1 out in the 3rd. Down into the hole for a base hit. Darrell Porter will stop at second as Reggie gets it back in. So back-to-back singles, and the Royals are in business in the 3rd inning with runners at first and second and 1 out. The top of the order coming up in Willie Wilson.
The left fielder, Willie Wilson.
Not a particularly good 0-2 pitch. I think if you're going to pitch Frank White anywhere, you got to keep the ball down or you got to come way inside. He kind of got it up, out over the plate, and he just punched it to right field.
He's a lot better hitter when he goes the other way. When he tries to overswing, go for the long ball, that's when he strikes out a lot.
So the Royals have their first threat. Willie Wilson fly to left in the 1st inning. Porter at second and White at first with 1 out in the 3rd. The Royals and the Yankees. The Yankees, no stranger to the World Series. The Royals trying to win their first pennant ever. The Yankees trying to win their 33rd. Dick Hauser
with the lead that Porter has down there, Al, it's going to be tough for him to score on a hard hit ball.
Darrell very conservatively off second, as you can see, still in the dirt. Bouncing ball, base hit, maybe more, into the corner. That will score Porter. Reggie playing it on the warning track. Rounding third is White. He'll come in to score on a triple by the fleet Wilson.
You're going to see a similar bottle Greg Luzinski got last night. Inside, a pretty good pitch, sliced right over the bag. And all the fans are doing is watching Willie Wilson run.
The runners coming in to score is Reggie Jackson. Got it back in and took a dousing as he threw it into the cutoff man. And Big Stan Williams, the pitching coach, going to the mound. So Rudy May had no problems to 2 1/3. Singles by Porter and White. Willie Wilson, who hit 15 triples in 1980 during the regular season, has one here. And the Yankee bullpen getting busy. That's Doug Bird, the former Royal, throwing.
Well, again, Wilson's one of those type of hitters. When he's up left-handed, he'll inside out the ball and go to left field. When he's up right-handed, he'll go the same way the other way.
Wilson at third, one down. UL Washington struck out in the first inning. The Yankee infield has to play in.
I don't think they have to play in, but I think they choose to do it because they don't want to get any farther behind. Dennis Leonard's throwing the ball real well.
Foul back.
Well, with Wilson on third, you know, it's hard to play back because
Reggie Jackson, and right, we mentioned that Reggie took a dousing. You can see it right there. Somebody dumping some beer or water on him out in the corner. There's the Yankee infield.
Not a very good fan of does a thing like that.
I've got a few of them. Hit to deep left center field and up the alley. That'll make it 3-0. The ball bouncing off the top of the wall, and Washington settles for a double. 3-0 Royals.
The third baseman.
So 4 straight hits now off Rudy May. 2 singles, a triple by Wilson, the double here by Washington.
And the fans are going wild.
They are very hungry. Much like, as I say, Philadelphia. You get into the playoffs, it's nice the first couple of times, but then you want to win, obviously. Brett, yeah, he would win it in this area. There's no question about that.
Not a great situation to be in. He did not make a very good pitch. Threw a hanging curveball to UL. Doubled up the gap. To be 3 runs down, have a man on second, and have George Brett up. Not a very enviable position to be in.
Brett popped out in the first inning. One and oh. Brett, a left-handed batter, of course, and then you've got the right-handers following. If he doesn't get Brett, Billy, will that do it for him, you think?
Well, I believe so. I believe he'll make a move.
I think they ought to make the move right now. I think I'd walk Brett. I don't care if who's pitching out there, left-hander versus left-hander, and bring in Bird to try to get the double play. They can't afford to get too many more runs down.
Popped up, shallow center field. Brown coming on. And Bobby has it for the out. And there are 2 down.
That's why I'm a pitcher and you're a manager, Billy.
Well, I was just going to say, Jim, maybe sometimes you'd go out there and tell him to pitch around him, don't give him anything to hit, and still be walking him and hope he swings at a bad ball.
The designated hitter.
2 away, Hal McRae, the batter. Rudy May yielding 3 here in the third. Royals winning yesterday 7-2. Trying to go into New York, needing only 1.
Like hanging a curveball, Jim.
Very easy to do.
Yep.
Well, what would you tell him now? You got first base open, pretty good hitter. Was really hot down the stretch.
Well, I'd pitch around this guy. I'll be honest. I wouldn't give him anything to hit.
He begins that way, does May, and the count is 1-0.
Rudy's really struggling. He's a lot like Ron Guidry yesterday. Not very good command of any of his pitches. He's up in the strike zone with his fastball. He's hung a curveball for the double this inning. He's really struggling. Not getting the ball down at all.
Off-speed pitch hit to deep center field. Brown still going back and one-hands it. In the inning, however, the Royals come up with 3 on 4 hits, and at the end of 3, Royals 3, Yankees nothing.
GE, we bring your day to life. Good morning. We help you face the day. Good morning. Take the pounds away. Good morning. Make you smile. GE, we bring good things to life. We put things close at hand to make the most of your morning time. GE, we bring good things to live in. We bring good things to life.
Gillette presents great World Series winners. The 45 Tigers, the 69 Mets, and you. Right. You can win in the Gillette World Series winning team game. Win $20,000 in 2 weeks in Japan. Advent Video Beam TVs, Polaroid one-step cameras. Over 1,000 winners. Plus money-saving coupons on Gillette products. Wow! See these magazines for Gillette game coupons and details. Then take them to Gillette store displays to see if you're an instant winner.
Some mornings, there's a little monster in all of us.
Morning, Fred.
And until that first cup of coffee, we can all be pretty beastly.
Good morning, Fred.
That's when your 7-Eleven store can be a lifesaver.
Good morning, Fred.
With a good cup of fresh brewed hot coffee to perk up your morning. 7-Eleven coffee brings out the best, not the beast in you.
Hey, Ralph.
Coming up in the 4th inning, Bob Watson to lead things off for the New York Yankees. Dennis Leonard to work on him. I talked with Denny.
Dennis, assess your performance against the Yankees in recent years.
It's been up and down, really. This year I didn't have too much success. The first time in New York, they hit me pretty good. I gave up, I think, 8 runs in 2 innings. And the only other time I pitched against them this year, Rupert Jones hit a 2-run homer off me, I think, in the 7th or 8th inning. I lost 4-3. But you know, that's the only 2 times I've had good games and bad games, and hopefully, you know, when I pitch this Thursday, it'll be a good one.
So far, it's been a very good one. Given up 2 hits, both in the 2nd inning. 3-0. The Royals on top. Tonight, ABC's Nightline, hosted by Ted Koppel, will follow the game after your local news. That's ABC's
The first baseman, Bob Watson.
Watson, Jackson, and Gamble, 3, 4, and 5 hitters, 4th inning.
Well, Bill, they better get something going.
They need it quick.
Watson foul tipping it into Porter's glove. With Mrs. Watson amongst those in the Yankee contingent here in Kansas City. Not much to cheer about for them thus far in the 2 days.
This is that half inning I was telling about, Al, where the pitcher would really like to hold the opposition down.
Key point you made yesterday. Yankees got 2 in the 2nd, and Billy brought that up, but the Royals came back with 2 to get right back in it, and 2 more in the 3rd, and never looked back. Oh, and 2 the count. 1-2.
And there's that slider again. I think the most important thing, if you're ever going to talk about pitching, is to get ahead of the hitters. And Leonard's been doing that all night.
Then he gets him to swing in a slider, which is off the plate and a ball pitch, and that's very smart pitching.
Well, Gurra did that yesterday. Struggled early, then started making good pitches in, going away, really getting them to swing at balls, being ahead in the count.
Bob Watson, like Mercer, a veteran in his first postseason play. 2-2 the count. Hit in the air to right field. Coming on is Watson in a hurry. Makes the running catch.
Nice running catch.
Good
Good jump
the
on the
bat.
ball.
John Watson, a versatile man. He can play right, first, or catch.
He stole 19 bases for a big guy. Runs very well.
On the move. Got a good break on the ball. And the out. One down. Leonard has retired the last 6 in a row, and Reggie Jackson, the batter, grounded a single into center field in the second inning. One and oh. Billy, you been visiting with Reggie at all during the series here?
No, I haven't had time, really.
Haven't made time, huh? You've been hiding.
Not really.
I know that. I'm just kidding.
2-0 the count. Dennis Leonard behind on the count as you look at Denny's wife.
Very happy for obvious reasons. Looked like when you introduced the Kansas City Ball Club today, they were all smiling.
And the Yankees were loose also.
Oh, they're always loose.
2-1 the count.
Again, another illustration that Leonard's still throwing the ball awfully hard. 2-0, not getting ahead of the hitter. 91-mile-per-hour fastball, really kind of by Reggie.
I was just wondering how long he can go this strong. He's really pitching as strong as I've seen him pitch all year.
Kansas City leading 3-0 in the fourth inning. 1 out, base is empty. Got the outside corner. Reggie arguing the call. That looked like a great pitch, though. Two and two.
I really don't think Reggie has any idea what's coming. I mean, he just made a great 2-1 pitch. He's got a good curveball.
Two to Jackson. Ran it in on him.
Great pitch.
Well, it looks like almost could be a slider. And it's just down and in, a pitcher's pitch. See it break there? Great pitch.
Third strikeout for the bearded Leonard, and up comes Gamble, who fly to center in the second inning.
Oscar Gamble's really quite a wit on the ball club. Wonderful young man.
He's been around, shuffling hither and yon through his career. Gamble with the Phillies, Cleveland, Yanks, White Sox, San Diego, the Rangers, back to New York. 0-1. Why has Gamble been traded so much, Billy?
I don't know. I tell you what, when you're a manager, you'd love to have him on your ball club. He can hit that ball and he can hurt you real quick.
Well, he got a big contract to go to San Diego, and I think a lot of times when you change leagues, it takes a while to really familiarize yourself with the pitchers and the ballparks. Mike Hargrove, an outstanding player in the American League, I think he was over in San Diego's after being traded from Texas for 60 days, and yet he hit 300 this year. Second, I think, in walks, or third in walks in the American League.
You're right, Jim. It's tough to pick up those pitchers over there. You know, and I don't care what the other players tell you. You have to see them yourself to learn them.
Well, I think Nolan Ryan, he watched the game last night. He said one of the most difficult things for him to really, I guess, acclimate himself in the National League was just learning the hitters, learning the umpires. It's tough.
One-two pitch is fouled back. 2 out, nobody on. Fourth inning. Leonard, that last pitch at 93. Denny right up there.
That's bringing that ball. That's really bringing that ball down.
Mixing up his pitches, too, getting Jackson on a breaking ball low and in. 1-2 pitch, ran that one in on Gamble, and down he goes. So Leonard looks razor sharp. He's now set down 8 straight, giving up just 2 hits. 3 up and 3 down for New York in the 4th. We've gone through 3 1/2 at Royal Stadium. Royals 3, Yankees nothing.
I'll tell you, I was a born soccer player. Did everything with my feet. Took out the rubbish with my feet, made the bed with my feet, drove my mum crazy. But I finally found something I enjoy doing with my hands. Drinking light beer from Miller. Light has 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling. But what really makes me happy is the taste. It's terrific. Now, my mum should be happy too. Look, Mum, no feet.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
When some people send a package by Federal Express for the first time, they never expect it to work. They're so used to getting chewed out for not getting a package there the next day, they expect it to happen with Federal, too. So they wait. And they wait. And they wait. And they wait. For the complaint that never comes. Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
The question is why? The question is why?
81 Caprice Classic. You can spend more. The question is, why? Why spend more for a smooth, quiet ride, plus room and luxury like this? Why pay more for V6 mileage estimates like these? Chevrolet Caprice Classic. You can spend more.
The question is why?
All right, coming up tomorrow, Kansas City at New York, if necessary, Saturday and Sunday. The remainder of this series, Yankees and Royals flying to New York tonight for Game 3 of the American League Championship Series, tomorrow night at Yankee Stadium. A syndicated column in yesterday's New York Daily News indicated that ABC Sports was involved in the making up of the American and National League Championship Series schedules in terms of dates on which games will be played and which games were in the afternoon and at night. Contrary to that story, League Championship Series schedules were determined by Major League Baseball. ABC Sports had absolutely nothing to do with establishing playoff dates or whether a particular game would be played in the afternoon or at night. As we begin the bottom of the 4th inning, the Royals on top, 3-0. Amos Otis struck out in the 2nd inning.
I think Rudy May is in probably the toughest situation the pitcher can be in. Struggling, 3 runs down, can't afford to really give up another run, or really it kind of puts his team both psychologically and physically out of the game. Really has to bear down on almost any pitch. It's like having a 0-0 ball game. You just can't afford to give up any more runs. What would you do as a manager? I mean, you've got to get the bullpen up quicker and...
Well, I'd say, Jim, I'd say just hold them there right now. We can't afford to give up another run. Hold them right there. Keep us close, and we'll score some runs and beat them. That's you always tell your players and your pitchers. Just hold them there.
May ahead of no balls and 2 strikes on Otis. Watson on deck and Akins to follow. Got him. That's number 3 for May, including Otis twice.
The right fielder, John Watson.
1 out in the 4th inning. John Watson fouled out in the 2nd.
I was talking to John. As you know, I misplaced my jacket yesterday. The guy he went to college with is the guy that found it.
Jim Palmer finally getting the ABC gold blazer and losing it. Discovered at 3 o'clock in the morning somewhere in Kansas City. 1-1. Somebody emulating Palmer.
No, actually they thought it was Howard Cosell's jacket. That's why it was pilfered in the first place.
Wasn't it a disco dancer that had your jacket?
Well, the guy was, I think he was making requests, telling everybody he was an announcer for ABC.
Ground ball to third. Nettles has his first chance, and flawlessly. So 2 away. Greg Nettles featured on our
first
pregame
baseman,
show.
Billy
Interesting story. I mean, Billy, even Greg said a couple of weeks ago he didn't know whether it was possible for him to play, and here he is.
Amazing guy. Just amazing man.
Said he felt good. He said he wished that I was out there, of course, but I think when you play against the Yankees, you get really sick of seeing Greg Nettles catching all the ground balls at third base. It was like Brooks Robinson for us in the years past.
They make so many great plays, you just don't know which one to brag on.
Willie Aikens, 1-0 the count. Willie Aikens, popular man here in Kansas City, came over in the deal to send Al Cowens to California. Cowens subsequently traded, of course, to Detroit for Jason Thompson. Hit to deep right field. If it's fair, there's no question, but it's hooking and going foul.
There's just an example of Willie Aikens' power.
Yeah, Willie gave it a Reggie look that time. There was no doubt. He just stood in the batter's box.
Well, they ducked up in the concession stand. That ball was crushed. And here's a low curveball. Not a bad pitch, but not a very good location. And we played them in Fort Myers in spring training, and Mike Flanagan, Cy Young Award winner last year, comes up, strikes him out on a curveball the first time. Next time he comes up, throws him another one. Line drive for a double up in right center. The type of hitter, even though he is young, it's only his second full year. If you get him out on one pitch, he'll come back and look for it.
He's a free swinger up there, Jim.
He said to say hello to everybody down in South Carolina. I told him I would after the hit.
1-2 the count. Aikens with 20 home runs this season, but only 5 of them came in this ballpark. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning with 2 out, bases empty. The Royals leading 3-0.
Unusual trade, really, to get him here. Really helped the Angels last year. One of their only, or if their only, left-handed power hitter.
2-2 as Cerrone started to head toward the dugout.
With good cause.
Figured with Carew. We look down from the helicopter. Beautiful Royal Stadium. This ballpark opening in 1973 as they moved over here from Old Municipal Stadium, part of the Harry S. Truman Sports Complex.
I played there, Al.
That's right. You played with the old Kansas City A's briefly.
And the old Kansas City Blues.
Is that the old Kansas City ballpark? I played there. We played there in '66, yes. Nice ballpark. George Toma, that was the greatest grass I've ever seen.
Still here is the groundskeeper. 2-2 pitch is grounded to first, and Bob Watson will take care of it. And that's that for the Royals in the 4th inning. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the 5th. Still, Royals 3, Yankees nothing.
At one time, imported oil was no problem to America. Today, we import over 40% of our oil. If supplies are ever cut off again, it could affect your driving, your heating, your job. Texaco believes conservation must be increased, alternate energy sources developed, exploration and production stepped up, because none of us want to be caught over a barrel. At Texaco, we're working to keep your trust.
Now, for your headache, a brand new extra-strength pain reliever. Unsurpassed strength with the 2 most powerful pain relievers you can buy, and a 3rd ingredient that may make them work even harder. Announcing new extra-strength Excedrin capsules. Nothing you can buy is stronger or works harder. In capsules or new tablets, new extra-strength Excedrin. Headache relief that goes as far as it can go.
You give a man a couple of days to himself and a Black & Decker workmate, and there's almost nothing he can't do. You can pound on it, saw on it, hammer on it, and sand on it. The sturdy vice jaws do the holding for you. You can clamp on it, paint on it, cut a shape on it, drive a screw on it. There's almost nothing you can't do. When America has a job to do, it reaches for Black & Decker.
Tomorrow, 2 championship series games. The Phillies and Astros at 2:30 Eastern. The Royals and Yankees at 8 Eastern, live on ABC.
Rick Cerrone, the Yankee catcher, leading things off in the 5th inning. I had a visit with Rick earlier.
The fact that of course, you have to replace Thurman Munson was well documented. I'm wondering about your acceptance, how quickly you were accepted by the Yankees. We've been there a long time. Munson, a great friend of many of the Yankees. What about your acceptance? Did it come quick and easy, or was it a process that took a while?
Well, surprisingly, the Yankees accepted me day one of spring training. Not as far as my ability, but they needed me. They needed someone to fill a void. They felt very good about me coming over. Everybody, you know, they tell you stuff like that, but you still have to prove it on the field. But they treated me like one of the guys, and right from the beginning, so it made that a lot easier. All the pressure from the outside people like the media and the radio people and all that stuff was a little added pressure that they put on me, but I think I handled it pretty well, and then doing a job on the field has also helped.
Rick Cerrone begins the fifth inning by flying out to center. Easy play for Amos Otis. And quickly one gone.
The third baseman, Greg Nettles.
Greg Nettles. Well, we'll see a lot of that tomorrow night.
What did we see yesterday? I love New York, but I hate the Yankees.
Be in Yankee Stadium tomorrow night. Tommy John, Paul Splittorff, Game 3. Greg Nettles, flied out second inning. Dennis Leonard rolling now. He's retired 9 straight. Yankees have only 2 hits, both singles, both in the second inning.
The first 2 times I ever pitched in playoffs, 1969, which was against your ball club, Minnesota, in 1970.
Call the stadium operator.
I had the luxury of having a 2-0 lead. It really takes a lot of pressure off you, and I think it puts a lot of added pressure on a team like the Yankees.
2 in that game in 11 innings.
High fly ball to deep right field. Watson going all the way back and trying to gauge it, leaping but can't make the catch. It caroms away and is in play. Rounding second and on his way to third is Nettles, and they're going to wave him in. Greg rounding third. Here comes the relay, not in time as it skids away from the catcher Porter. So Greg Nettles, an inside the park home run, and Mrs. Nettles, she looks on in disbelief, as do many people who didn't think that Greg could play again in 1980, and here he hits a home run.
High fastball. Watson really makes a great effort. I think the only thing here is Amos Otis is kind of playing, waiting to either see the ball go over the fence or play it off the wall, and the ball hits the top of the cushion and just kind of squirts away towards center field.
It hit him his glove.
Exactly. I'm surprised Gray can run that far. It's been out for so long.
And he was hesitating rounding third, though he was being waved in all the way. And the throw up the line, and it's closer than it initially looked. As we take a look again, the sweep tag, and Nettles has to go in with his hand.
I don't believe Nettles can whistle right now. Do you think so, Al?
I think in that situation, Al, you just don't want a guy to get thrown out at home trailing by 3 runs. It's nice to have a guy on third with 1 out.
See how close Watson comes to making the catch, gauging it.
It hit right in his glove and hit at the top of the fence. I think the fence knocked the ball right out of his glove.
Brett throws Dent out. And we have 2 down in the 5th inning. Greg Nettles. Boy, I tell you, one more look now at John Watson in right field.
He caught the ball.
He did, sure. Glove hitting the top of the cushion.
Wonderful try. Really great effort.
It was hit real high. Had a great chance to get back on the ball.
3-1. The Royals on top with 2 out, and the base is empty. And Bobby Brown at the plate. 0-1.
Well, that run makes it a little closer now. You know, when you down 3 runs, you score 1 run, you're right in striking distance.
Well, it sets up a tie ball game anytime you get a runner on base.
1-1. Do you know that man without his credit card?
Oh, Georgie, pal.
Have you talked to George at all this week?
Yes, I did. I talked to him the other day. Wished him luck.
So, did he congratulate you on your great year in Oakland?
Yes, he did, Al. He was very nice about it.
Oh, I saw George and Reggie before the game. I think George suggested to Reggie that he get a few hits.
He might be giving a little pep talk.
2-2.
Well, I never played for the Yankees, but they have an unusual way of pepping each other up then, I guess.
They'll certainly get a pep talk if they go home 0-2.
I believe so.
2-2 the count. Now it's full, 3-2.
Well, those are the same two pitches that he got out.
Both Gamble and Reggie.
Right, both spots right there, and it doesn't look like a slider to me, Jim. What does it look like to you?
Well, the velocity is a lot harder than his slider. I don't know. Has Art Fowler been working with this guy too? Your pitching coach in Oakland?
I don't know.
Ball seems to be going down, kind of like a spitball would.
You know, you're going to make people think we throw spitballs, Jim. Really, it's a dry spitter. You got a hole on the dry side.
Well, you convinced a lot of our hitters this year.
There's the summary. Kansas City picking up 3 in the third. Triple by Wilson, driving in 2, then a double by Washington, and Nettles hitting the inside to Parker here in the 5th inning to account for the Yankee run. And there's Greg.
Still puffing and huffing.
Debilitating disease, hepatitis. Coming back. Didn't play, remember, until last Saturday. Doubleheader against Detroit. And came back and played again on Sunday. Ball 4. So Brown is on, and Willie Randolph.
The second baseman, Willie Randolph.
Is the batter.
Think they'll run, Billy?
I think so.
2 runs down?
I would. It's a good time. Get a man on second base, single score. Right now, it's 2 base hits will take a score or a home run.
Randolph flying to right and striking out in his first 2 trips. Leonard has struck out 4. 0-1.
Would have been a good pitch to go on to catch and drop the ball.
Well, also looked like a breaking ball. I would think that Willie would get some fastballs to hit in this situation, but it doesn't look like Bobby Brown had a particularly large lead at first.
I always try to put a fastball hitter up there with speed in front of you because the catcher's usually afraid to call for the curveball.
I think you can guide the lead a runner has on AstroTurf. Usually they'll have 1 foot on the turf if they're getting a sizable lead.
0-1 pitch is wrapped to right center field. Watson coming on and can't make the catch. Brown heading toward third, waving him in, and Brown will score as Randolph goes to second. So once again, John Watson has an out within his grasp and can't hold on. And the Yankees make it 3-2. John Watson, that's certainly a catchable ball there. An easier play than he had on the home run by Dent.
Well, that ball hit him on the wrist, to look like, Al. He missed his glove altogether, rolled right up his arm, and I guess he was trying to fall down on it and hide it from the umpire, but it got away on him.
A lot of times on a line drive to the outfield, the ball will knuckle. And it looks like he gets to the ball in plenty of time, but a ball will knuckle. It'll move on you. And he definitely misplayed this ball.
John Watson.
That ball should have been caught, Al.
Yep, absolutely. The inning should be over. They're going to score it a double for Randolph. His 3rd hit in the series. Rennie Martin throwing in the Kansas City bullpen. The left-hander is George's brother, Ken Brett. The Royals on top. Yankees have the tying run at second. Willie Randolph is there. 2 down. Bobby Mercer. Randolph in scoring position. Mercer has lined to first and grounded to first.
Mrs. Brett got to be a proud woman to see 2 of her sons out here in the championship ball game.
Well, we all know about George, and we forget Ken has some pretty good years early in his career. Then he was out of baseball. And
a lot of perseverance. I remember him when he broke in with the Red Sox. Outstanding arm. Not a very good breaking ball, but that's come along as the years gone by. Just kind of threw the ball by the hitter. I think you have a situation here. You got Bobby Mercer up, who is an excellent clutch hitter, as we said before. Much tougher out with runners in scoring position.
He beat us a ball game in Oakland, I'll never forget. 2 outs.
I wasn't too happy about that, Billy. We were watching. You had a 1-0 lead. Langford hung a slider with a man on, 2-run home run.
Sure, on a Saturday afternoon in August in Oakland.
All the Orioles cried.
I did too.
You left him in too long. No doubt about it in my mind.
1-1.
He didn't think so. He felt so bad. That was the lowest I've ever seen Rick feel. But He's such a tremendous competitor. He never complained about it.
Talking about Mama Brett. There she is.
I think that's one of the loneliest feelings that a pitcher ever has, to throw a 2-run home run in the 9th inning with a 1-run lead. You want to go hide somewhere out there.
Two outs.
No place to go, though.
1-2 on Mercer.
And here you'll see a high curveball. Dennis is not getting the low pitch. I don't think he wants to throw the high curveball, but he gets on the outside part of the plate.
Two out, 1-2 the count on Mercer in the 5th inning. Kansas City on top 3-2. Yankees trying to get even in the series. Struck him out. Number 5 for Leonard. In the inning, the Yankees get a couple, 2 hits, lead 1 through 4.5. 3-2 Royals.
Sam, answer the television.
Zenith announces Space Phone.
It's probably my wife. Dave, answer the television.
Are you kidding me? This could be my boss. Hubie, you answer the television.
Just push a button and answer the phone right through your new Zenith.
Hello?
Who's this, please?
Hubie Brown?
Congratulations, UB Brown. You've just won a free world cruise.
Space Phone only on Zenith System 3. We're moving television into the future.
If you haven't tuned up your engine lately, put in a fresh set of Champion spark plugs. Fresh Champions once a year, and keep your starts on cue. You can't buy a better plug.
Well, back in Kansas City, Al Michaels, Billy Martin, and of course the man who's fully clothed. We don't normally see him in that pose of late is Jim Palmer.
I knew you'd get around to that.
Oh, we have to. We have to. Billy, we're going to see you on the field or in the booth for the playoffs next year?
Well, Al, I think you're going to see me out in the field.
If you make the kind of improvement next year that your club made this year, you're right, for sure.
I think you're going to see a great ball club next year.
Oakland A's winding up second to Kansas City in the American League West. Bottom of the 5th inning, 3-2 Royals. Darryl Porter will lead it off. Frank White, Willie Wilson to follow. Porter singling in the 3rd inning.
Started that big rally.
High in the air to right field and routine for Reggie Jackson. One gone. Rudy May has settled down after he gave up those 4 hits that led to the 3 runs in the 3rd. He's retired 6 straight. And he settled down after Jim Palmer was ready to yank him.
I told you that's why I pitch and don't manage.
Well, now it's getting down towards the end. If the Yankees tied up, then we'll see a guy by the name of Gossie's on that mound.
The Goose with 33 saves. Half swing. And a miss. 0-1. There's Gossage. Getting around that time where the Goose can start thinking about coming in. Gaylord, yeah. Gaylord Perry on the right.
You can kid me about getting Rudy out, but he did make a very big pitch. He got George Brett out with a man on 3rd.
Bunted, made backhands, looks to first for the out. 2 down.
The left fielder, Willie Wilson.
2 gone, Willie Wilson the batter. Funny, I saw some kids clustered around before the game. They were seeking autographs from the Yankees. Gaylord Perry walked by and One of the kids said, "Oh, we don't want him. He's one of the coaches."
289 wins, and they still think he's coaching.
Right.
Potential Hall of Famer.
That's what they're going to be saying about me on 1985.
1-0 the count on Wilson.
Look, Gaylord looks like a coach. He has a coach's body. He's all gray.
Thinks like a coach.
Amazing
too.
thing. I played for Earl Weaver for 10 years. He blames all his gray hairs on me, and I don't have any yet.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. On the Royals. They love them in Kansas City. Over 2 million people again this year.
That's the 3rd year in a row they've drawn over 2 million.
Yep. 2-1. Well, that is what our director Chet Forty has been reduced to after doing Monday Night Football. Coming in here and back to Denver next Monday. Good close-up of Chet. 2-1 on Wilson. 3-1.
Well, if he gets on, Al, we'll definitely see a stealing situation. We'll see if Rudy can hold him on over there.
Well, Rudy's definitely going to try to throw a strike here. He's not the type of guy you walk.
And Wilson is on.
The shortstop, UL Washington.
May yields his 2nd walk, and up comes UL Washington. Willie Wilson lifetime has a career stealing percentage, successful rate of .850. That's a major league record for players with at least 200 steals. Davey Lopes used to hold that mark.
That is great.
Well, he outruns the ball, and here you're going to have a classic confrontation between the pitcher trying to hold him close. If he does go to home plate, trying to release the ball in a hurry and give his catcher a chance to throw him out.
Well, now you have some base runners like that will give a sign to the hitter to let him know to take the pitch when I'm stealing the base.
I think you can see from the lead a slightly bigger lead than Bobby Brown had. He's almost got his right foot out on the AstroTurf.
We've found that he usually never goes on the first pitch. He'll probably go now, but we always found the 2nd and 3rd pitch he goes on.
Have another look now at that move you talked about before, Jim.
Well, you see his foot doesn't quite go behind the pitching rubber, and that's allowed. If he goes a little bit back, he's got to go home plate, or otherwise it's a balk if he comes to first. If the umpire calls it, of course.
That was no pitch out.
No, it's just what a good base runner will do. I know. Classic example in Oakland. You have 2 of the best, Dwayne Murphy and Ricky Henderson. The biggest thing here is that you've got to get the hitter out. And I've always felt it's better to throw the first ball down the middle, hope that he makes an out. Because if you get behind him, you're going to have to come into him. And if you do that and the guy happens to steal, it's just a tougher to get the hitter out.
That's correct, Jim.
One and one. Wilson stole 5 of his 79 bases against the Yankees this season. Willie finishing 2nd to Ricky Henderson, who hit the 100 mark.
Well, Frank White said this is the only Royal that runs on his own. Everybody else gets a sign from manager Jimmy Fry, but carte blanche opportunity to steal anytime he wants. And I think that only happened the 2nd half of the season. I mean, you're leading by 20 games. The last thing you want to do is have a guy get hurt sliding into second base, maybe taking that extra steal.
That's for sure.
I mean, like you said yesterday, Ricky Henderson led the 100 and some steals. Only did it when it was going to help the ball club.
That's for sure. Now he's got a little bigger lead over there right now, Al. You notice that?
Wilson, what? 1 and 1 the count. It'll be interesting to see if Willie goes on this pitch here.
I always notice when a runner's going to go, he gives you that nonchalant lead off the base.
Kind of like that.
Trying to hide the motive.
Exactly.
And you hear the fans booing, but I mean, I've thrown over there 8 or 9 times. At this point, Rudy can't give up any more runs. And he's already down by 1 run. He's got to keep his club in the game. They can boo all they want. You don't want that guy to steal second base.
That's right. And that's part of the script in the stands. Doesn't go, and the pitch is looped in the air to right field, and foul, just foul.
Well, there's a good break for the Yankees. You saw in the 3rd inning, Willie Wilson hit a ball right over the bag for a triple, scored 2 runs. Here are balls just inches foul.
You know, that.
An inch or 2.
Nice call.
But, Billy, that's such an interesting point you made now that I think about it in regard to the way a man takes his lead off first base. If he goes out there very nonchalantly, you're right. He oft-times goes, but if he scoots out there and looks like he's a little pepper pot, then you kind of feel, well, no, he's just trying to fake me out.
Then you know he's decoying you. What I do is I give a sign to the catcher to force the pitcher to throw over to first base quite a bit. Then when he's throwing over, I watch. Now, if the runner is get caught leaning, then I'll call for a pitch out on the next pitch.
And here's Willie just kind of hanging right there.
Well, with his speed, he's like Ron LaFleur up in Montreal, who led the National League in stolen bases. He doesn't have to get that big a lead. A guy that doesn't have quite as good a speed has to get a bigger lead to steal second.
2-2.
I tell you, you will see happen, Jim. Even if they do pick him off, he'll have such a big jump. It'll be very tough for them to throw him out of second base.
Well, we saw that yesterday. Twice they tried to do that. The Royals will pick a pitch to go on. If the guy throws over, try to beat the throw. Yesterday, Bob Watson made 2 excellent throws to Bucky Dent at shortstop to throw him out. I don't really think that Willie has Rudy figured out. He's been going back on some of the pitches.
I think he's going to take a chance right now.
2-2 on Washington. No, doesn't go. Ball 3. Well, now there's no doubt. 3-2 down.
Well, you wouldn't think there would be any doubt.
But it'll be interesting to see if he can get even a decent jump here with May's move.
Doesn't look like he wants to, Al. Looks like he's afraid to, like Jim said, afraid to get off there. Afraid to make the move. So he'll probably wait just a little longer. What happens a lot of times, the pitcher will pitch out over there and pick him off because the runner will leave too soon. Like he's playing off the base right now. They're decoying a little bit.
Well, you got to watch that because he can score from on a long single from first base with the kind of speed he has. Not too many runners can do that.
3-2 pitch is inside, ball 4.
The third baseman, George Brett.
So Rudy May, after getting the first 2 men here in the 5th inning, walks Wilson in Washington. Stan Williams making a local call to the bullpen. And the Yankees will get busy.
Jim Higgin. Great catcher.
Oh, he was. Son Mike played in the bigs. Now is a Brewer broadcaster.
Well, this is just what you want your pitcher to do in Oakland, right? Pitch around Willie Wilson and UL Washington to get the George Brett.
Not hardly, Jim. Although the way our pitchers pitched against him, it wouldn't be a bad idea sometimes.
Brett is 0 for 2 tonight. 2 for 5 in the series. 2 on, 2 out. Bottom of the 5th inning. 3-2 Kansas City. Bouncing ball to Watson. Backhands, shovels. They get him. Brett now 0 for 3. So the Royals leave a couple here in the 5th inning. We've played 5 full. It's Kansas City 3 and the Yankees 2.
Sunday on Those Amazing Animals, learn about the whale's tragic burying ground, a chimp who makes house calls, and rodeo's meanest bucking broncos. Then hear the survivors' own stories of the eye of a hurricane, the Texas City fire, a real towering inferno on Catastrophe.
Sunday.
What you think you'd do if you found us?
Cloris Leachman.
Shoot, probably.
An Oscar-winning affair in the last picture show.
How do you see the world? It can seem a little overwhelming at times. Luckily, there's the New York Times. And now we're making the Times more accessible to new subscribers with this special home delivery offer. Pay $3 a week for 2 months and get the 3rd month at no charge. Now, that's actually less than newsstand prices. For details, call Miss Wells toll-free 800-631-2500. In New Jersey, call 800-932-0300. There's never been a better way to save money and see the world.
American business is being taken over by revolutionaries. Revolutionary Savin copiers. Savin's advancing in New York, surrounding Dallas. Savin's winning over banks and brokerage houses. Why is big business going for Savin in a big way? Because Savins are fast, economical, and remarkably reliable. In fact, last year, Savin outplaced Xerox and IBM combined. So if you haven't noticed the revolution, you will. Savin, the revolutionary copiers that are winning over big business.
Neighbors fight back after the game.
In Kansas City, we're going to the 6th inning. The Bull, Bob Watson, to lead things off with New York. I talked with Bob earlier.
Has it been easy to fit into this ball club?
Sure. It's you know, you have a lot of guys here that are stars, a lot of good ball players. There's some guys here that probably would be playing every day on just about everybody else's ball club. And when you come over and you're right in the midst of a lot of good talent, it makes it easy. It makes your job a whole lot easier. You're not pressed to always get that base hit, that hit the home run, because you know if you don't, the guy hitting behind you will do the job.
Bob Watson leading off here and fouling it away.
You know, Al, Bob's in the Western wear business down in Houston, in the boot business.
Now, obviously, what has to come next is who else do we know that's in the Western wear business?
Well, now that you brought it up.
Who brought it up? Come on, Billy. All right.
Any size 14 boots, Bill?
Get the plug out now.
Definitely.
We haven't talked about the book yet. 0-1 pitch is fouled back. Billy's book, #1, right up there on the charts.
Yeah, thank you, Al. It's doing great. I'm really happy about it.
No controversy in that book or anything like that, is there?
A little bit sometimes, Jim.
There's a man who gets a few mentions. Reggie Jackson waiting on deck. Ooh, 1-2.
Well, they're working Bob. They're throwing fastballs in and trying to get him bite at that low and away slider. But you got to throw him strikes. I mean, you don't fool him very often. 300 lifetime hitter. And you can't keep coming in because he can look for the ball there.
Tough out.
Very strong.
Count holding 1-2.
Hit that ball in the end of the bat. I believe that was a slider or something.
Well, it's the ability of a good hitter.
Tonight, Nightline. Following your late local news on most of these ABC stations. That's fouled back toward here.
A little jam job there, Al.
Tom Fanninsteel called the stadium operator.
Dennis Leonard was coasting along until the 5th inning. Inside the park homer by Nettles, double by Randolph that should have been caught. And the Yankees got back in it. 2-2.
Well, he got some tough breaks in that inning, but when you're out there pitching, even if you're pitching well, and they get a couple of runs, it just makes your job that much tougher.
The third, Brett backing up. Long throw, gets him. George Brett takes care of Watson. First out, 6th inning, nobody on. And Reggie Jackson coming up. Mr. October is now 1 for 6 in the championship series. 1 for 2 tonight.
I think this is the guy that Bob Watson was talking about. If you don't get the hit, the next guy will.
Reggie's had a fine year, had a real great year.
Yeah, but this is when it all counts. I can remember a guy that you played with when I broke in 1965, Don Larson. Of course, he's talking back before the playoffs. He says when you get in the World Series, it's like icing on the cake to win. Getting there is the most important thing. Outstanding year by Reggie, but you got to produce now, tonight, tomorrow, or the season's over.
1-1. Leonard's last pitch, 90 miles an hour.
It's down a little bit. It was up to 93 earlier in the ball game, but 90-mile-per-hour fastball, not too bad.
One pitch to Jackson. Hit high in the air, left field, toward the line. Willie Wilson ambling over. They take care of Reggie again.
He kind of caught that ball, Al, on the end of the glove there.
Did. Routine fly ball, and Wilson turning it into a mini adventure. So 2 down now in the 6th inning. And Oscar Gamble, here it is. See the ball almost popping out.
Not really. I think it's
well, yeah.
It slid up there.
Yeah.
It slid up, yeah.
I think the big thing, I talked to Joe Cronin many years ago in Japan, and he was talking about legislating against the pitchers. It lowered the mound, bring the fences in, more AstroTurf. Really what makes it tough on the hitters is the fact that they have such big gloves.
The deep right field, Wathan going back. He has room, and the Yankees come that close to tying it here in the 6th inning. Instead of 1, 2, 3 innings for Dennis Leonard. And at the end of 5.5 in KC, Royals 3, Yankees 2.
Falcon Parcel Service in Mountain View, California runs their Chevy Chevette fleet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they know Chevette's durable enough to stay in service. To be in any business today, you've got to cover a lot of territory. And that's one of the reasons you'll see Chevy Chevette working all over the country. And starring in the Joey Chitwood Thrill Show, the 1981 Chevy Chevette. One tough son of a gun.
Michelin could make a bias ply tire, or a bias belted tire, or a second line radial. Michelin could, but Michelin won't, because we put you first. For years, we've made only one tire, the Michelin X Radial, and we've made it the best we know how. We think too many things in this world give up or give out too soon. So we don't make a second best tire. At Michelin, we refuse to compromise. One more way. We put you first.
Reuniti on ice?
That's nice.
Reuniti on ice?
That's nice.
Reuniti on ice.
That's nice.
Reuniti on ice.
That's nice.
Reuniti is America's best-loved imported wine. Red, white, and rosé. Like love, it's pure and natural.
Reuniti on ice?
That's nice.
Saturday in the Cotton Bowl, the Oklahoma Sooners, who scored 82 points last weekend, tackle the undefeated Texas Longhorns.
Coming up tomorrow, ABC Sports presenting the National League Championship Series. Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell, and the Big D, Don Drysdale, will be in the Dome. Phillies in Houston tomorrow night will be in New York. For the Yankees and the Royals, we're wrapping up the Kansas City portion of this series as you look at the fountain display, one of the many features at Royal Stadium. Packed again tonight, 42,633, and that's a new record. Yesterday we had 42,598, so they squeeze in a few more this evening as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Al McRae to lead off. Walk, flied out, 0 for 1. 0-1 the count. McRae, the designated hitter. (3-2) Royals. 1-1. I'll tell you one thing, Billy. You ever get the chance, I'd love to see you manage in the National League without that DH.
I tell you, I used to like it without the DH, but then after we got the DH, I enjoy it a lot better than Ray. And you still have to manage it. It doesn't take anything away from it.
Fouled away, and the count 1-2.
Well, I think the one thing, the luxury that you no longer have as a pitcher, of course, is to have that opposing pitcher coming up a couple times a game. Of course, you managed, going back to the playoffs, we had 69 and 70. We didn't have the DH, I guess, in the American League till 73.
73.
That's correct. I used to like it without the DH because it forced the other manager to make a decision whether to get booed or play it safe and take him out for a pinch hitter or leave him in there and get booed. I used to like that, but
If you had your choice, would you like to see it stay or go?
I like the DH now because I think it scores more runs, a little more excitement out there.
2-2 the count.
But I don't like the fact that we can't use the DH in spring training against National League clubs, and I don't like the fact that we can't use it in the All-Star game. I think it's wrong.
Every other year, of course, it's in the World Series. And in this year's World Series, they will use the DH.
Oh, it was great last year. First time I batted since 1972. I had to fade Bert Blyleven.
Your man Stoddard came through last year as a hitter.
Well, that's what makes Earl Weaver such a great manager. Left him in there, and he bounced a single to the left.
Down he goes. Al McRae striking out.
I don't see that too often.
The center fielder, Amos.
Excellent curveball. You'll see again, here's that big breaking curveball. And he's really settled down. You were right, Bill. I should have left him in. And really, his job right now is to pitch as well as he can, as long as he can, and try to get in a situation, give them a chance to get back in the game and bring in the goose.
And he's done his job. He's doing it right now.
May has given up 4 hits. They all came in the 3rd inning, and they were successive.
Well, 2 bad ones and 2 fairly good ones that just were hit where there was nobody standing. And those things happen on the turf.
May has struck Otis out twice tonight. 3rd inning summary right there. Porter and White with base hits. Wilson the triple to drive in 2, and Washington gets home the other. Nettles with an inside the park home run in the 5th. And then Willie Randolph had one to drive in Brown with the ball popping out of Watkins' glove.
Surprised he was given a hit on that ball.
Amos Otis at the plate. Misses Otis. Herman trying to get untracked and bounces one through the hole into left field for a base hit. Well, that brings a smile to Mrs. A.O. Hit number 5. We'll look at it from left field, just by Nettles.
And here's a classic Greg Nettles dive. Our guys always yell, stay on your feet. But when you dive like that, even though you're extended, at third base, you can come up and still throw the runner out.
If it wasn't for the artificial turf, believe me, he'd have caught the ball.
Well, Greg Nettles probably plays the deepest third base. He'll give you the bunt. He's in a little bit there because Otis does have some pretty good speed, but in Yankee Stadium, you'll see tomorrow night, Greg Nettles goes way back, and he catches those balls in the hole. It makes him a great third baseman. Now, you know, Billy, positioning of the fielders is as important as anything.
Very important. Pitch him and play him one way, Jim, is the name of the game.
John Wathan is 0 for 2. John looking for his first hit in the playoffs. Otis at first base. Amos has stolen 7 bases career-wise in the playoffs. That's an American League record.
Well, what do you do here, Bill? Got to get something going. Good hit and run man.
Well,
not the best guy to steal off of. We said before, great move to first.
Some managers like to hit with 1 out, Jim. I don't like to do it, but maybe they'll try it.
Watson holding Otis aboard. 1 out, 6th inning. 1-0.
Well, Amos gave that false start over there also, Al.
Little shoulder move.
Sure did.
Rudy May very unhappy about the call on the last pitch to Watson.
Brinkman's looking at the Yankee bench. Somebody might be voicing some opinions to him.
Looking over again now. Jose Martinez, first base coach, has a word with Otis. Royals leading 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning with 1 out. Otis at first base.
Do you do much yelling from the dugout?
Oh, sometimes, Jim, sometimes.
I mean, what are you trying to accomplish?
Nothing really. Just get the umpire's attention, let them know that I'm watching the game.
2-0 now. Low and inside. Rudy May. Haven't seen any good jumps off May tonight except for McRae in the 2nd inning, and then Howe was thrown out by Cerrone. Line to right at Jackson.
One of the greatest moves, Al, I've ever seen in baseball was a pitcher by the name of Bill White. He used to pitch in the American League at one time.
W-I-G-H-C is what he spelled it, right?
Tremendous move. And guess who learned how to break it and steal on him? Phil Rizzuto.
Really?
It was just the way he planted his foot, whether he's going to go to first or go to home.
Scooter figured out the code, huh?
He sure did.
Jim Fry, his club out in front 3-2. And Jim's wife,
Joan.
Joan
Great
Fry.
gal. Good sense of humor. Of course, she has to have one to hang around with Jim for so long. No. Really a nice couple. Of course, I go back with Jimmy to 1964. Wanted me to play on his first ball club. I wanted to go to Stockton. He wanted me to go to the rookie league. I couldn't understand that.
Well, he's certainly done a wonderful job.
Came in with some pressure on him. Whitey Herzog had been quite popular here. Runner goes. Good jump. Pitches low. Throw to second. No chance. Amos Otis able to decode May's move that time. And that's his 8th career playoff steal. And it ties Joe Morgan, who has 8 career-wise in the National League. 2 out, man at second. Tomorrow, Philadelphia-Houston. Morgan and his gang against Schmidt and company, 2:30 Eastern time. That series locked up, game apiece. Yankee Stadium tomorrow night for the resumption of this series, game 3, 8 o'clock. 2-0 the count.
Al Amos likes to steal third sometimes with 2 outs, which I don't think is a good idea, but he'll try it.
Not in this situation. I mean, he's going to score on almost any ball hit to the outfield for a base hit. I think if you got a slow guy, he's obviously not going to steal third, but I mean, we have the same situation as yesterday. Rudy May's got to get this guy out. He's got a lefty versus lefty. Yesterday, Aikens got the big hit. Had a lot of opportunities to do it again.
To center field, deep but playable. Brown back, has it for the out, and Kansas City is done in the 6th inning as they strand Otis at second. We'll go to the 7th inning. Cerrone will lead off for New York. Still 3-2 Royals. Where the Royals won yesterday 7-2, lead tonight 3-2. There's your new right fielder. John Watson coming out, having some trouble out there tonight, and Clint Hurdle takes over with a 1-run lead as we go to the 7th. Rick Cerrone will lead things off for New York, then Nettles and Dent. The Yankee wives, their spirits still high at this point, despite trailing. Remember, as we mentioned yesterday, no team in either league has ever lost the first 2 games in the playoffs and come back to win it. I guess the closest might have been your club, wasn't it, Billy, when you were at Detroit? I'm trying to recall that series.
Well,
you guys lost, what, the first 2, won the next 2, and then a 1-run game in Game 5.
Yes, and the umpire called the play, called that said Cash pulled his foot off the base too soon.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were making peace with those guys in their series.
Not back then.
Well, I am, Al, but this man's retired.
All right. 0-2 the count.
Not going to mention your last name, John.
Gray hair.
Shot foul by Cerrone. Count holding it 0-2. Greg Nettles with the inside the park home run in the 5th inning. On deck. Royals 3 runs, 5 hits. Yankees 2 runs, 4 hits in the 7th inning. One and 2 the count.
There was that pitch, Jim, but it was up a little high.
Well, it looked like a high slider or whatever, but really that 2-run rally in the 5th for the Yankees, what it did is put a lot of pressure on Dennis Leonard. I mean, a home run can tie it. Base hit and a home run can put him behind.
Line to left field. Wilson with great speed right there.
There's that great speed for you, Al. Just can't beat it.
It pays off. Here's Nettles. Contracted hepatitis in July. Made his way back. Long recovery period for Greg. And I talked with him earlier.
Greg, the obvious, how are you right now physically?
I feel fine. My liver tests have come out pretty good the last 3 weeks, and I feel healthy. I was a little stiff after playing a game the other day, but other than that, I feel fine. My arm feels fine, which I thought I would have a lot of trouble with my shoulder. It takes me a long time to get that in shape usually, and my timing at the plate has been good, and I feel better in the field each day.
Greg Nettles flying out and then the inside the park home run in the 5th inning. Was flawless defensively. Strike here, the count 0-2. Leonard still right up there, 92 miles an hour. He's been consistent. KC trying to get into the World Series. First time ever. The old A's never made it in, and neither of the Royals.
They've come close.
3 times. 1-2. Jim Palmer mentioning home run will tie it, and apropos to point out here, Leonard led the American League in giving up home runs this season. 30.
I tried to catch him, but couldn't make it.
Breaking pitch inside. Of course, we've been talking about Gossage for the Yanks. We're getting to that point, and in the bullpen, as you look at Nettles against Leonard in the playoffs, we'll be seeing Dan Quisenberry in the Kansas City bullpen. That right-hander getting up. Nettles fouls it away. There he is. Dan Quisenberry. Didn't need him yesterday. Larry Gurr went all the way. Dan was up and throwing late. A lot of people thought one of the keys to this series would be Gossage and Quisenberry, and that situation may be developing tonight.
There are a lot of good pitchers that have thrown a lot of home runs. You go back to Robin Roberts. You go back to Fergie Jenkins. If you don't do it with anybody on base, it's not too bad. Not in a 3-2 game, obviously.
Struck him out. 6 strikeouts. Another man who would fit into that mold as we see this pitch again is Catfish Hunter.
Well, here you'll see a low curveball hit the high fastball for the inside park home run, and he makes a good pitch with his breaking ball.
So 2 down. That chart in the hands of the pitcher tomorrow night, Paul Splittorff, charting the pitches.
And that chart will show where the pitches were hit, what kind they were.
UL Washington catches the looping line drive off the bat of Bucky Dent. And Dennis Leonard has retired 7 in a row. So to 6.5 in Kansas City. The Royals 3 and the Yankees 2. A gorgeous sight. The Jewel sitting right out here off Interstate 70, about 10 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Royal Stadium. They've been rocking here tonight. Kansas City on top 3-2. Big day Saturday. Be with us beginning 12:30 Eastern Time. Oklahoma 12th ranked, scoring 82 points last week against unbeaten and 3rd ranked Texas. Then the Phillies in Houston, and if necessary, at 8 o'clock Saturday night, the Yankees in Kansas City from New York. Game 4. Al Michaels, Billy Martin, Jim Palmer with you as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Kansas City leading 3-2, and Darrell Porter the batter. Rudy May has gone all the way from New York. Randolph gathers it in. Over to Watson. 1 out.
That same ground ball, Al, be trouble in New York because the infield slants both at shortstop and second
baseman,
Frank White. By design?
No, not by design. Just the way when they built the new field, that's the way they fixed it up. And players have been complaining about the last couple of years.
Well, it's always been known for a bad outfield, isn't that? Where Mickey Mantle hurt his knee stepping in a drainage thing in one of the World Series.
Oh, that was in the old ballpark, Jim.
You mean the old field?
The old field, yeah. The old field.
Same ballpark, new look.
Different look.
Be there tomorrow. It'll be Tommy John and Paul Splittorff. Game 3. Frank White at the plate. A strike. 0-1.
First changeup Rudy May's thrown, 7 innings.
Speaking about good ground crews, that Yankee ground crew is a good one also.
Breaking pitch in on the hands. 0-2. Here's Eric Schotterholm. Interestingly enough, Eric There are his career figures against Leonard, yet he's on the bench tonight as Dick Hauser has opted for the left-handed batting DH, Bobby Mercer.
I think he's 0 for 11 this season against the Royals here, 0 for 12, maybe 0 for 13 now here at Royal Stadium.
What about that, Billy?
Well, I think that Hauser went the right way. Really, I would have gone with Gamble out there, or because of the factor of Mercer really as a DH, because I think Mercer is a tough out. Really, I think he's a real tough competitor at the plate. Tougher than Soderholm, I believe, in certain situations.
Hit to left for a base hit. Frank White having quite a series now. That's 5 hits in 2 games for Frank.
Left fielder, Willie Wilson.
Half a dozen hits off Rudy May. And up comes Willie Wilson. Willie with a triple in the 3rd inning. Down the line and right. Yankee bullpen stirring around. The Goose. Who else in the 7th inning?
Doesn't take him very long to get ready, does it, Billy?
No, it doesn't.
Willie Wilson, switch hitter. 1-0 the count.
You know, there's an art to getting ready out there. You're watching a man doing it real quick out there right now.
I don't really think people have any idea how much bullpen pitchers throw. Not in the game. I know Tippy Martinez, the left-handed pitcher for us this year, and Timmy Stoddard did a great year. They warmed up over 290 times during the season. Tremendous amount of throwing. You have to know what you're doing out there.
Well, goes back to what Billy said yesterday. Here's Gossage. Look at that angle. Sitting right in behind the catcher. Billy making the point yesterday, such a relevant one to you. You have to be very judicious in your choice of when you want to get your pitcher up, not to overwork him down there.
Well, also, Al, you know, with your starting pitchers, sometimes your starting pitchers overthrow getting ready for a ball game. We have a clock on them, and we count all the pitches and make sure that they don't throw over 70 pitches when they're getting ready for a ball game.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count.
Well, this is a great bullpen to warm up in. And you have those 2 walls on both sides. It's kind of like Chevert's Ravine. The ball really makes the popping sound. A lot of times you come out of that bullpen thinking you're throwing a lot better than you really are.
Little echo chamber in there.
Certainly is. Well, everybody has a little idiosyncrasies. I warm up 15 minutes. Mike Torres up in Boston has to throw 100 pitches or he doesn't feel he's ready, whether he's throwing good or bad.
1-2 pitch to Wilson. Saved by Cerrone. 2-2 the count.
I wonder what that pitch was.
Looked like a curveball. And here's another play that keeps the runner on first out of scoring position. A low curveball. Cerrone does what a catcher's supposed to do. He kind of gets down, and as the ball comes up, which a curveball will do, he comes up with it. Keeps the ball in front of him.
Frank White, the runner at first. 1 out, 7th inning. Kansas City leading 3-2.
Rudy with that slow, deliberate move.
Well, it's a deceptive move. There again, he does not go back past the pitching rubber, and he can come to first. It's a tough play, a tough call for an ump. That's why usually when they call a balk on a lefty, you have an argument from the manager and the pitcher.
Comebacker. May to Dent. Nice play by Bucky. Off balance, not in time. Watson doesn't like the call. What a play by Dent, though. To make the catch, find the bag, and avoid White.
You know, Al, I didn't know if the ball was being thrown to Willie or Bucky.
Well, I think, you know, when you go through this drill in spring training, you always know who you're throwing to. But when the ball is hit up the middle, both the shortstop and the second baseman converge on second, you really just want to throw it to anybody. You throw it really over the bag. It's like leading a guy in football.
Yeah, but you're supposed to tell him before the play the ball is going to be coming to me, like the shortstop. I'm covering now. On that case right there, it looked like both of them are going to go to the base. But the second baseman, if he wasn't covering, he should be going behind the base in case of a high throw.
So Wilson is on with his great speed, legging it out and avoiding the double play. And Washington is the batter. UL is 1 for 2. And Cerrone to the mound. All right, now with May's move, Wilson could get no advantage the last time Willie was on in the 5th inning.
Amos looked like he read it, but that doesn't look like Jim said earlier, doesn't look like that Willie has found him out yet.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that Willie Wilson's best years as far as stealing bases are ahead of him, mainly because he doesn't know the pitchers. If you talk to any base stealer, Lou Brock, Maury Wills, not only do they have the speed, they know how to read the pitcher.
Well, Ricky Henderson is one of the younger players that reads them well, and believe me, he's probably going to break all records.
Well, he's the type of guy like Willie. The only way to stop him from stealing bases is to keep him from getting down to first base. That or letting him hit a triple.
Pitch outs not going to stop him, Jim. Even pitch outs don't get him.
You're right.
You know, Ricky will ask me about certain pitchers, about certain moves, but usually it's Ricky that picks up the pitcher himself. He's a very smart base runner.
Willie Wilson, the runner at first base. 2 down in the 7th inning. There's your pitch out, and nothing happening. 1-1.
You think he'll pitch out again?
I don't know, Jim. It doesn't look like he's even going to try to steal over there. I don't understand why. Like you said, maybe he can't figure him out, but I wouldn't this time. Now I'd probably go.
Short lead, doesn't go, and it's fouled away. 1-2.
In that case, Rudy May, instead of making that slow, deliberate move to first, came to the plate quickly. And that's what a pitcher's job is to do. Kind of vary your delivery so the runner can really never guess with you.
If I remember correctly, you're pretty good at that, too.
Not really. I think probably if you, to rate all my attributes, I get rid of the ball quickly to home plate, but I don't really vary my windup or my set position when a runner on first. It's a hard thing to do. It really takes a lot of concentration.
2-2. The fact that when you come set, Jim, you come set so high, is that to keep the runner close, or you're just more comfortable that way?
Well, I think it's what I try to do is never really stop. You can get away with it. You're supposed to pause for at least a momentary pause. And when you come high, you can just kind of drop your hands in a hurry. You can just slight pause.
Well, I'm glad you admitted that, Jim. That's the point I was trying to bring out.
Well, there are all kinds of things that if you can get away with, they're going to make you a better pitcher or a hitter or a base runner.
I can't wait to see Oakland play Baltimore next year.
I can.
Chopper, dead field, shovels to Randolph just in time at second for the Force, and that's that for KC in the 7th. 1 hit, 1 man left through 7, still 3-2 Royals, and we'll be back in Kansas City after this word from our local stations. Scoring summary right there, 3rd inning is when the Royals did all of their damage. The triple by Willie Wilson down the line and right, scoring Porter and White, and the double by UL Washington. And the Yankees did all of their scoring in the 5th inning. Inside the Parker by Nettles, walk to Brown, double by Randolph, which Waffen couldn't handle in right field. So we go to the 8th inning in Game 2. The Royals winning yesterday, leading tonight. 3-2 Kansas City. Bobby Brown popped out and walked. 0 for 1. 0-1 the count. Dennis Leonard, like Gura yesterday, looking strong at this point in the game, retiring 7 straight. Yankees and Billy Martin #1.
Bill, anything you look excuse me, anything you look for late in the game with your pitcher? You ever ask him how he feels, or you just kind of tendencies?
I have the pitching coach ask him every inning when he comes in, Jim. Also, we're counting his pitches, and we're kind of staying on top of him. And you know each pitcher, when he starts to get a little bit up, then you know he's losing it when he's reaching back for a little extra. But Art Fowler stays right on top of him, talking to him all the time when they come in. And we want the pitcher to be honest with us, to let us know that they're out of gas.
Leonard, as you can see, not only finishing strong here tonight, but very strong overall after the All-Star break. 13-4 on his way to a 20-victory season. No balls, 2 strikes on Brown. 1-2. Dennis Leonard, that last pitch at 93 miles an hour. He's been right there all night. Two.
Would you say he's reaching back for a little extra right now, Jim?
I don't know. I talked to him before the game, and you know, Bobby Brown hit 12 home runs left-handed, and most of them, I'm sure, were down. And I just think that he's trying to pitch him up and strike him out up in the strike zone. I think most left-handers are low ball hitters. Greg Nettles is really I guess probably an anomaly to that. He just.
Ooh, good pitch.
That's the same pitch, Al. He's getting those left-handers out on.
Second baseman, Willie Randolph.
We've seen a few of these tonight.
Actually, that pitch is a ball.
Well, that's the luxury of being ahead in the count, or at least having 2 strikes on the batter. They tend to expand the strike zone, swing at balls that maybe aren't strikes.
That's what we managers try to preach, Jim.
Willie Randolph at the plate. Leonard has now struck out 7. 1-0. On Randolph. Bobby Mercer is on deck.
Looked like a National League strike there. Tendency to get the little lower pitch over there in the National League. Looked like he took a little bit off. I know Jimmy Fry came to me. Dennis came to me early in the season and said, Jimmy's really trying to get me to change speeds on my fastball.
Delayed call and a strike on the inside corner. 2-1. Line to right field. Hurdle backs up, plays it on a hop. Randolph is aboard. Tying run is on. Willie with 4 hits in the 2 games now.
The designated hitter, Bobby Mercer.
And Bobby Mercer. He's been handcuffed tonight. Soft liner for an out. Grounder. And a strikeout. 0 for 3. Jim Fry will visit the mound, and Quisenberry is in the bullpen. So you've got the left-hand batting Mercer here, followed by the right-hand batting Watson. Coming up tomorrow from the Dome. Game 3, Phillies and Astros. Series tied, game apiece. Then tomorrow night from Yankee Stadium, the Royals and the Yankees in game number 3. Tomorrow the matchup, by the way, in the Dome, Larry Christensen for Philadelphia and Joe Niekro, who won the divisional playoff game against the Dodgers on Monday, working for Houston. Our matchup in New York tomorrow is Paul Splittorff and Tommy John. Bobby Mercer at the plate, 1 out. Randolph at first.
And we have one of the few Yankees that can steal a base. I don't know about you, Billy, but with the guy holding Mercer on at first, you want to kind of give Mercer that hole, or excuse me, holding Randolph at first. You want to give him that hole, maybe get that 1st and 3rd situation.
Well, Jim, I'll tell you, I think with Willie Speed down there and with a left-handed hitter up, which will make it difficult for Porter to throw him out, I would take the chance to try to steal the base.
Randolph stole 30 this season. As we mentioned before, only he and Brown, among those eligible for the playoffs, have more than 2 steals. The other Yankee who's a threat to go is Rupert Jones, but he's on the disabled list.
Jim, with no outs, I would go the other way.
Well, he's got a big enough lead to steal the base. He's another guy that only steals, and it seems, in important situations. He's not going to just be stealing bases to kind of run up his stats, so to speak.
Very good base runner. Exceptionally good.
Willie back again. So Mercer waiting patiently at the plate. Bobby Mercer. Here's a man who's always looking for an edge. When he used to play at Candlestick Park, where it's very cold, of course, he used to keep his bats warm in the sauna. To the count.
When you get hit on the fist a lot, they tell you to put it in a whirlpool.
Now the Mercer's right at home. He always brings his rocking chair to the clubhouse. But Bobby tough in the clutch.
Leonard's just staying away from him. He's just trying to throw fastballs away. George is rooting.
George looking on anxiously.
Maybe not verbally, but somewhere, you know, he's
very tense look.
Yes.
Well, this is what the playoffs are all about. And you'd see they won 103 games. All they got to do is get beat 3 times and they go home.
I remember.
I think 1969 is a classic example. The Orioles won 109 games. We had to get a 2-out bunt to win 4-3 in the first game, won 1-0 in the second game in 12 innings, and I got to get 12 runs in the third game.
And I got fired.
No. Did you really?
That's correct.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Bill.
That's all right, Jim. That's the way it goes sometimes.
Mercer goes down. So Dennis Leonard has his 8th strikeout. Here's Steinbrenner's reaction as Mercer strikes out. I think that man won't be happy until he has a ball club that goes 162-0 someday.
He does love to win.
Don't we all?
That's for sure.
Well, what about now, Billy? Is he going to steal?
Well, it's going to go sometime.
You can see his right foot is on the AstroTurf. Sizable lead.
Of course, I like to see the runner stealing against a left-handed hitter up there, but Willie's got the speed to steal no matter who's up.
Bob Watson inside, ball 1. 1-0.
I think another thing you have to consider is that if a guy is going to get thrown out for the 3rd out, Bob Watson is the type of guy you would like having leading off the 9th inning. And, I just think you got to gamble in this situation.
Sometimes I'll have a guy get thrown out, so my leadoff hitter will be leading off the inning. Like with a 2-out situation, and I've got the 9th hitter up there.
How about down 1 game to the Kansas City Royals and trailing 3-2?
You never can run scared, Jim, no matter what the score is.
1-1 the count.
I think we won a ball game right here against this Kansas City club where it was a bunt situation. We switched and hit away. Mickey Rivers.
One pitch. Half swing foul. 1-2. Dick Hauser.
And of course, this is a good time for a pitch out.
Count 1-2. Okay. See if Randolph goes here.
Not a very big lead.
Listen to that crowd now. Leonard has struck out 8, far above his average for the year. Willie Bluff's going, drilled into the left field corner. Willie Wilson will have to play this one perfectly. He does. They're waving the runner around third. Here comes a relay from Brett. Perfect throw, and they nail him. George Steinbrenner infuriated as we see it again to play at home. Perfect relay. Porter right there. Barrel roll in, and down he goes. They throw out Randolph. KC still has the lead. We played 7.5. 3-2 Royals.